Bienvenido a mi diario de Inglés Británico, un podcast para hispanohablantes que quieren entender inglés británico con confianza y progresar profesionalmente en el Reino Unido. Soy Shandon, coach nativo de inglés británico y sí, también hablo español. En cada episodio hablo en inglés británico real y conversacional, para que practiques tu comprensión auditiva y te acostumbres a cómo hablamos los nativos en la vida diaria. En este episodio voy a hablar de lo que hice el fin de semana, para ayudarte a entender cómo hablar del pasado en inglés. Te recomiendo que escuches este episodio más de una vez. No te preocupes si no entiendes todo. Cada vez que escuches, vas a entender más. Vale, empecemos.
Okay, so hello and welcome to episode 3 of the podcast. As I mentioned in the intro, in this episode I'm going to speak about what I did on the weekend. Because of that, I'm going to be speaking lots in the past tense and using lots of verbs in the past tense, since this is something that English learners often struggle with, so you'll get lots of practice hearing me speaking in the past tense in this episode, which will hopefully help you when you're speaking in English to use the past tense. I'm going to be speaking about 5 things that I did on the weekend, giving you lots of different details about what I did as well. So let's get into it. The first thing that I did on the weekend was that I did some work. I always usually work on Saturday mornings, and this weekend was no different. On Saturday morning, I worked. I had one English lesson, teaching one of my students who's from Spain, and I also did some other work on my business to try to grow my business and help more English learners to speak English with confidence. But that's the first thing that I did this weekend. I did some work on my business. The second thing that I did this weekend was that I went to an event. On Saturday afternoon, I went to an event in central London. This event was called Gastro Diplomacy, and it was an event mainly with Colombians, but also some other people from other Latin American countries as well. The event was great. There was lots of really good food, first of all. I ate lots of Colombian food, like arepas, empanadas, and other things as well, which was really good. I love food. I'm what's called a foodie, and so that was really great that I could try so many different types of foods that I've had before mostly, but also some foods that I've not had before, such as arepa de plátano, which is a plantain arepa, we'd call it in English, and that was delicious. I also met some really great people at the event. I talked to some people who I've spoken to previously before that event, but I also met some new people as well, some really great friendly people too. So that was another great thing about the event. And the third thing that I loved about the event was that there were a few different really interesting speeches. Different speakers gave really interesting speeches that were inspiring and really thought-provoking as well. So that was another great thing about the event. It lasted for around 3 hours, from 2:30 in the afternoon until 5:30 in the evening. So it wasn't a super long event, but more than enough time to fit in lots of great stuff. After the event, I walked home. I also live in central London, while I live in southeast London, but just south of the river, so it's still central London. And the walk home took me about 35 minutes from where the event was held. Okay, so that's the second thing that I did on Saturday. So I worked on Saturday morning, and then on Saturday afternoon, I went to an event. What about on Sunday then? On Sundays, I always do planning. So this Sunday, I did my planning as well. I always like to plan my week ahead on Sundays so that I know what I'm going to do in the coming week, what work I'm going to do, what plans I have with friends and family, and everything else as well. My weekly planning usually takes me about 2 hours, but this week it only took me about an hour and a half. When I do my weekly planning, I always reflect on the week just gone as well, so that I can think about and remember the good things that happened that week, and so I can learn from the not so good things or the bad things that happened that week as well. When I do my planning, I always write in my journal. So on Sunday, when I did my planning, I wrote in my journal all of my notes, all of my thoughts and feelings as well, and planned the week ahead off the back of that. After doing my planning for the week ahead, I cooked my meals for the week ahead. So I prepared my meals for the week ahead. I always like to do my cooking on Sundays, and so every Sunday I cook my meals for the rest of the week. Not all of my meals, just my dinners, but I try to cook at least 6, if not 8 dinners for the days ahead. So that's what I did after my planning. I spent time cooking and I cooked my dinners for the week. As I said, this weekend was quite a busy one, and so after doing my planning and after cooking my meals, I went to another event on Sunday afternoon. This event was to celebrate Peruvian Independence Day and was in Vauxhall, which is in southwest London. So I walked to Vauxhall, which isn't too far from my house. It took about half an hour to get there, and I went to this Peruvian Independence Day event. I only spent an hour there because I had other things to do and I was quite tired, but I spent an hour there and saw some great Peruvian dancing and also tried some different Peruvian foods as well and snacks. So I ate some Peruvian snacks while I was there. And that was on Sunday afternoon from 3 till 4 in the afternoon. The final thing that I did this weekend was on Sunday afternoon/evening, I went to the cinema by myself. I went to the cinema alone. Lots of people don't like going to the cinema alone, and lots of people would never do it. But this was the 4th or maybe the 5th time that I've been to the cinema alone, and the 2nd time that I've done it in London as well. So I went to the cinema to watch a film. I went to the cinema in Leicester Square in central London, and I went to see the F1 movie. So I took the tube or the underground from Vauxhall, where the Peruvian Independence Day event was, to Leicester Square, which took around 15-20 minutes roughly. While I was at the cinema, I ate lots of popcorn and sweets as well. I always eat popcorn and I always buy popcorn when I go to the cinema, and this Sunday was no different. I bought popcorn and I bought sweets as well, and I ate all of them, all to myself, and I have no shame about that at all. It was also really nice because when I was at the cinema, I disconnected completely. I didn't use my phone or any other technology at all, and I just watched the film and that was it. It was really relaxing, and afterwards I felt a lot better. I felt relaxed and I felt very calm. Okay, so that's what I did on the weekend. I hope that was interesting for you, and I hope it was useful for improving your English listening and understanding. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Gracias por escuchar este episodio de mi diario de Inglés Británico. Ya has dedicado tiempo a tu aprendizaje hoy, y eso suma más de lo que crees. Poco a poco, tu inglés va a mejorar. Si vives en el Reino Unido y sientes que tu inglés te está frenando profesionalmente, te invito a hacer una evaluación de fluidez profesional gratuita conmigo. En esta sesión, analizo cómo hablas inglés hoy identifico exactamente qué te está bloqueando y te explico qué necesitas trabajar para hablar con más claridad y confianza. No es una clase, es un diagnóstico claro y honesto de tu inglés hablado. Escríbeme por mensaje en Instagram para reservar tu evaluación. Dejo el enlace a mi cuenta en la descripción del episodio. Gracias y nos vemos pronto. Bye.